Hello guys, welcome to CS Tech Solution. Today is learning UI/UX design, and today is learn topics of accessitive technologies for as a participant with as a disabilities. And first is what is accessibilities. Accessibilities means as a designing a product, services, and the environment so that as a peoples with as a disabilities can be use them as a efficiently, as a UX designer is one of your as a goals is to create a product and that are as a usable by as a everyone regardless of theirs as a abilities. And what does A11 and Y means? As a A11 Y is pronouns A and after as a 11 and after as a Y is short forms of the accessibilities, and the A is the first letter and the 11 is 11 letters as between the A and Y, and Y is the last letter. It also has a sound like the all Y, and as a reminding the UX designers to as a support the user of all the abilities. And as accessibility benefits of everyone, as designing for as accessibilities is help as people with as disabilities, older adult, and as peoples with temporary injuries, and people is facing the situational changes, and as a better accessibilities is often the improve the experience for as all the users. And types of the disabilities and the changes, and first is a permanent disabilities is a long term condition that has a effect the permission abilities, sorry, as a personal abilities, and the example as a blindness and the deafness, mobilities limitations, and the speech impairment. And the example is a person who is a blind may use the walking straight and as a screen readers. And second is a temporary impairments as short-term limitations cases by injury or as a illness. And example as broken the arms, and the temporary as hearing the loss and the blur visions without glasses. And the example is someone who is forgot that the glass and may the struggle to read a small text. And third is the situational changes as a difficult case by as a environment, and the example is driving a cars and the carrying a groceries and begins in a noise place. And the example is drivers may use the voice command and instant for as a reading the text message. And as what is the accessitive technologies? As accessitive technologies is any tools, device, or as a system that is help the peoples with as a disabilities is perform the daily task, like it improve the learning, communications, workings as the navigations, and the technologies has to use. And so the figures as a switch use and the close the captioning, and as a reminder as alarms, and the ASC device and the screen readers, and also as and common types of accessitive technologies. First is a screen reader. A screen reader is read as allowed as text, buttons, links, menus, and website content, and use the mainly by as a peoples with low visions or as a blindness. And the example is a voice over as iPhones, and as a talkback is Android. Second is a screen magnification and high contrast is help the users with a low vision by as integrating content, and increasing colors contrast, and as make the text easier to as a read. And third is a switch device. Switch is help the user to control the technologies with as a minimum movements. And the example is a large button and click the switches and the alternatives keyboards and useful for the peoples with as mobilities impairment improvements. And fourth is a closed caption and as a speech to the text as a convert the spoken word into as a writing the text as a useful for as a deaf the users and hard for as a hard of hiring the users. And example is a YouTube caption and live captions on as a smartphone. And fifth is a reminder alarms and the visual supports as help the peoples with as cognitive disabilities remember the task. And the example is action blocks on as Android phones and use the pictures and is simple labels to as perform the action such as calling the family's members. And six is argumentative and as a alternative communication is AAC. AAC devices help the people as communicate using as images, symbols and the visual buttons and useful for the users with as a speech improvement and as a learning disabilities and the cognitive disabilities. Why as a include the AT means as a assistive use technologies users in as a UX research as a including the peoples who use the assistive technologies is help the designers to identify the accessibility problems and improve the product as the usabilities and create a more exclusive experience and as the ensure the designs is work for as a wider's audience. And best practice before the usability study as before the testings with as a participant. First is try to the accessitive technologies yourself and test your the prototype using the screen readers and keyboard only as a navigations and the magnifications tools captions utils and not any usabilities issue and prepare the better questions for the participant. And this they help you to understand the experience of the users with as disabilities and as improve qualities of your as a research. Thank you guys to watch the videos. Please subscribe the channel on the notification and bell icon.